Can you believe we're at the end of yet another year? And it seemed only like a few months ago that we were talking about 2020 being the year where you smash all your goals, you get to travel the world, and you know what happened. With 2021 being another year of lockdowns, all-time highs in real estate and the stock market, as well as a few canine related digital tokens outperforming every asset class in the world. Now it also happens that these last 2 years have corresponded with the first 2 years of my life as a 30-year-old. So in this video, I just want to quickly talk about the things that I know now that I wish I did when I was in my 20s. If you're new here, hello, my name is Jack. Welcome to my channel. Have a look at some of my videos, and if you enjoy my content, I really appreciate it if you subscribe, like the video, so the almighty YouTube algorithm can recognize me, and more of these videos will get promoted to you. The first one is the importance of thinking outside of the box to solve problems. Like every other kid, especially an Asian kid, we were taught to do your homework, answer the questions right, and life will be rosy. All you have to do is answer between 98 to 100% or you'll be disowned by your family. And that's how things were for the first 18 years of your life. I was very fortunate to go into architecture school where the first thing you're taught is there is no right answers and you need to come up with your own way of looking at the problem. So not only were you taught to think outside the box and really define what that question is before you come up with a solution. Elon Musk talks about looking at problems from a first principle basis. Not only to question assumptions, but to question previous knowledge and any conventional thinking that results in it's always been like that, why hasn't anyone done anything about it type of a mentality. It is with these principles that SpaceX was founded, because no one ever looked at building a rocket in any other way than how it was already done previously. Because I don't know, I guess rocket science is hard. Number 2 is work is not about trading time for money. It's all over the news, but if you haven't heard already, Millennials and Gen Z are lazy, entitled, and really hate the idea of working. On the back of the pandemic, we have the great resignation in an economy where businesses are already struggling to find people to work for them. Is it because kids these days? Ooh, that made me sound really old. But, is it because kids these days just don't want to work? Well, no, it's because they have options. They have options to start an e-commerce store, they have options to start a YouTube channel, and they've got options to trade NFTs and make 4, 5, maybe 10 times more than what they would in an entry-level job. So work is not about trading time for money, it is about utilizing your best skill set and your knowledge to hopefully contribute to society in a positive way. So go out there and find something that A, you really enjoy, B, you can develop a whole array of different skill sets, and C, is scalable. Now C is quite important, because if whatever you're doing is not scalable, you are essentially still trading time for money. You're just doing it at a different rate to what you would be if you were an employee. And A and B are obviously very important, because doing something that is fun and makes you feel like you're learning something is going to continue to push you along whenever you feel like you're not making any progress. Whatever you're doing, the chances are it'll take you a year or more for you to actually see kind of results. If it's not fun and if you don't feel like you're learning anything, you will come to your first hurdles and you would stop. Just got to be like Dory and just keep swimming. Now number 3 is that money is a tool. Coming from an immigrant family, I'm pretty damn good at saving money, because that was the only thing I was ever taught to do. We did everything ourselves, and the thought of paying someone to clean the house or to do groceries was completely... Now this was so instilled in me that last year was the first year that I've used a dishwasher. But as most people do in their late 20s and early 30s, I got to a point where my time was more valuable learning not only to delegate, but to provide correct instructions for other people to do the task is a critical life skill that I've only started developing the last couple of years. Now, if I didn't learn how to do this, I would literally be doing my taxes myself, I'd be trying to fix plumbing at one of my rental properties, and I'll probably be doing my own laundry with a bucket down in the river. Finding people with expertise and learning to pay for their tutoring, coaching, or to do things on your behalf is the fundamentals of saving money, doing things better, and generally making the most out of life. Trust me, you will never regret paying someone to do something that you can't be bothered dealing with. Now, speaking of doing laundry, number 4 is the idea of tasks to complete as opposed to a timesheet. Now, in my 20s, I worked pretty long hours, and for the most part, I thought I was smashing it. Now that I have more experience in my industry and I'm working with really high performers, I've come to realize that there's a few things that they do that most people don't. And it all boils down to the idea of tasks versus timesheets. For you to better understand, let's use doing laundry as an example. Most people would say there's 3 steps to doing laundry: loading the washing machine, hanging the clothes to dry, and folding the clothes. Now, the typical person will do these tasks as they come. Now, that whole process may take a whole day, and on your timesheet, it would look like you've filled up different tasks for that whole day, and you feel like you've achieved something. But a top performer isn't interested in that at all. They look at all of it as one individual task to complete, and to be able to completely close off the task means all the clothes are neatly folded, stored away, ready to be used the next day. Finishing something 100% is really the key here, and as a chronic procrastinator, I'd have to say that's something that I do struggle with. I'd be very good at getting something to 90-95% complete, and because that remaining task is so small and isn't really that high of a priority, I leave it off and go off and do something else instead. What eventuates is you have a whole list of things that are 90%, 95% done, but nothing is fully closed off. And then you'd realize this last 5% is going to take you more time than you ever thought it would, because you have to start the task again, familiarize yourself, get your head back into it, as opposed to closing it off. Number 5, the final item, is understanding the concept of consistency, duration, and intensity. Now, I can't remember where I got this from, but I feel like it was from an MMA coach or fighter. And it makes sense because there are a lot of sports people that understand this concept. Basically, everything you do in life can be boiled down to 3 different things: consistency, of how often you do it; intensity, of how hard you do it; and duration, of how long you do it for. Let's use learning to play the guitar, for example. And let's call this person A Stevie. Now, Stevie plays guitar for 3 hours a day, every day. But in those 3 hours, he does some mindless noodling, spends 80% of his time checking social media, spends time on eBay or Facebook Marketplace looking at new guitars. On paper, the consistency is great, duration is good, but the intensity's not so good. Jimmy, on the other hand, might play 2 hours every 2 or 3 days, but spends those 2 hours practicing, learning new songs, recording his playing, and getting that feedback to really understand what he's doing right and wrong. Although Jimmy doesn't score as highly as Stevie on consistency and duration, his intensity is much better, and he might get to the same level in a shorter amount of time. Now, this is a great exercise for you to do yourself. Look at the things that you're trying to get good at in your life and evaluate them on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of consistency, intensity, and duration. Imagine what life would look like if you were rating yourself a 5 out of 5 across all of those 3 items. You probably wouldn't have a life for anything else, but you'd be pretty damn good at whatever that thing is. Now, it might be a hobby that you're working on, or a particular skill you want to develop, or it might be a side hustle or a business. But the key here really is to start something and to stick with it. The life that you'll live in 3 to 5 years from now is going to be based on the back of decisions that you make today. If you take nothing away from this, I think the consistency, duration, intensity exercise is an amazing exercise to do, because you can use it across a whole lot of different things, from going to the gym or from learning a new language. Now, if you like this video, it helps me a lot if you hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.